So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Webinar Wednesday. My name is Franklin, and I'm the Product App Specialist for Kids and your webinar host. So if you're new to Webinar Wednesday, on behalf of the Kids community, welcome. Here we'll show you the tips and tricks you need to know in Kids to help you get closer to becoming that supercharged power user. Let me also introduce you to Julia, who will be moderating today's webinar. Julia?
Hi again, my name is Julia. I am the Marketing Specialist for KISP, and I will be your webinar moderator for today. So that means if you have any questions for us throughout the webinar, please feel free to submit them in the chat box. It's just located on the GoToWebinar control panel on the right side of your screen. So send them as often as you'd like, and I'll be monitoring all the incoming questions, and we'll take a few minutes at the end of the webinar to answer them.
All right, so it's back to school, so what better way to start it off with the basics? So sit back, relax, and I recommend that you watch this webinar. Julia, what are we covering today?
All right, so for the agenda of today's webinar, we're going to be going over managing your catalogs and also galleries. Then we're going to be looking at creating your first project, also organizing your projects, organizing your projects and creating folders for your projects. And lastly, we're going to be showing you how to make that beautiful rendering and make some quick sheets and sharing with your customers. So you're going to need to know the basics first before you can close those sales quickly with kits. But before we start, make sure you are connected to a strong and stable Wi-Fi. Public Wi-Fi's or personal hotspotting won't really cut it when connecting to our cloud to sync those catalogs. However, sending emails to your client through kits will work. Also, make sure you set your iPad's auto lock function to never or delete as long as possible during the syncing process to ensure a complete sync of all your manufacturer products. And also the features in kits are in-app processes only, so you must remain in kits while syncing. So Franklin will demo the basics of kits based on an opportunity. As always, each webinar we try to give you an opportunity to work with. So for today, the client is renovating their office and will be adding a new touchdown work and casual meeting area. So we'll need to create a layout that works for the client. So let's begin the webinar.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Julia. All right, so if this is your first time joining us and this is your first time opening up kits, you'll notice that you'll open up in the catalog subscription screen right away. But after that initial start, you'll always open up here in what we call as the project gallery. And this is basically where you're going to manage the projects and the shares that you're going to have to update. I'm going to get into this a little bit later. So what I want everyone to do is go ahead and tap on Sync to get to the catalog subscription screen. So this is the catalog subscription screen, and this is basically where you're going to be managing the catalogs and galleries that you're authorized to sell. On the left-hand side here, you can see is the list of all the manufacturers. Obviously, my iPad looks quite different than all of yours, and that's because I have full administrative access to all the actual manufacturers that we currently are hosting, are pending, and as well or basically any galleries that we're creating for them. So what's the difference between these planning typical galleries and the manufacturer catalogs? So the planning typicals galleries are basically the galleries which the content creation team here in KITS creates. What we actually do is we create a synergy between the manufacturer resources as well as anything that we can actually use to help quickly help the sales rep quickly ideate with their clients. So these are pre-configured typicals that we create. Sometimes we work with the manufacturer to producing these, and sometimes what we do is we recreate what we find with the manufacturer's resources. The catalogs are provided to us by the manufacturers. They actually send us their data on a recurring basis. All we do is we simply take that actual data, and our data processing team runs it through a conversion so it's accessible through our cloud. We don't fix the data, we just receive it and we convert it down to size. So this is actually an important thing to remember, especially when you find issues regarding any of the manufacturer catalogs that you use. It's best to actually contact us, let us know exactly the model number that is of issue, what it's actually not doing, so that we can actually do a quick check to see whether or not it's something that we can fix on our end that doesn't affect the actual data, but something that we can actually do on our side to make sure that the graphic works. Or what we'll have to do is we'll have to work with the manufacturer to making sure that they update their conversion process so that the next time we convert, any of those fixes that were mentioned are done, and so that you get complete models. Okay? So simply enough, to add a manufacturer, all you have to do is find the manufacturer you want to add, and then you just have to tap on them. Today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through Trendway, and as you can see here, I've already downloaded all the Trendway catalogs. But to add a manufacturer, all you have to do is select one of these radio buttons that are left of the actual catalog name. As you can see, they're already highlighted. Once you actually tap on it to highlight, to add it to this invisible sync list, all you'll have to do is go ahead and tap Sync Now to sync the actual catalogs. Our sync process is done in 2 stages. You'll notice that you'll first go into a data sync in progress, and at that first stage, what it does is it begins to pull all the text information of the catalog. That can include the ID numbers, descriptions, and pricing information. And then you'll notice that the iPad is also locked, so you can't go outside of the catalog subscription screen. And then we get into the second stage, which is the graphic sync in progress, where it begins to pull down the graphics that are associated to the catalog. That could also include all the swatches. Okay, and at this phase of the actual sync process, the iPad is released. You'll see a sync counter appear, indicating how many objects are currently downloading to your iPad. But what you can do is you can continue on into the actual projects and start your project, because Kits is intuitive that way. It recognizes where you are in the catalog as it's downloading, and it'll begin to fetch those graphics first so you can actually start using it for your project. Okay? To cancel, all you have to do is tap on Cancel. All that does is it rolls back the iPad prior to when you hit Sync Now. It doesn't retain any of the data that it was partially syncing. It completely removes it, so that when you run a sync again, it starts right at the very beginning. To remove a catalog, all you have to do is tap on the radio button of the item that you want to remove, and when you hit Sync Now, that will automatically remove that catalog. Again, it's always good to remember that what you have here is basically a way to manage the content that's available to you. Okay? So let's continue on with going into the Projects Gallery screen. Kits will actually notify you of any updates. Again, these are all in-app processes. Here you can actually find an update by the notification bell. The notification bell will indicate if you have any catalogs that are ready to be updated or planning typical galleries, or if there are any projects that have been shared to you that are ready to sync down to your iPad. You'll notice that you'll see a 1 or 2 appear on that notification bell, indicating that you have some items ready to be updated. Next to that, we have the online tutorial button. That's the question mark there. If you tap on it, that leads you to our online tutorial screen. And here you can see that Kits will recognize where you are in the tool, and it'll bring up that tutorial first. But you do have a slew of different tutorials below that you can actually access. All you have to do is tap on the tutorial that you want to see. Make sure that you hit the big play button in the middle and that your audio is up so you can hear the actual tutorial. All right? And to close, all you have to do is tap on Close at the top right corner. All right, so again, this is the navigation bar of the Project Gallery screen. In the very middle of the Project Gallery navigation bar here is the project counter, and that's basically indicating how many projects are currently saved on my iPad. All right, so before I get into the Project Gallery screen again, what I want to do is I want to continue on with creating a project. So let's go ahead and tap on the plus sign to access the scene builder. All right, so this is the scene builder. This is where I always say the magic happens, because really this is where you're going to actually wow your client and be able to work on those layouts based on the requirements for the opportunity. What we have in the very middle, and I'm just going to zoom in, it is hard to see on this reflection tool, so you already have this, but what you start off with is this floor grid that appears in the middle of your floor at the default camera position. Each square of this floor grid equals 1 full square foot, and this is the only place that you can actually use to dimension your project. As you know, we don't provide any way of annotations or dimensions right now for Kits, but what we do is provide you with this floor grid so that you can actually space plan your project based on the requirements. All right. Now, again, at the very top is the navigation bar. in the very middle of the navigation bar is the project name. As a best practice, what I always like to do is assign a new project name. So we're going to go ahead and tap on New Project. Then I'm going to tap on the small X there to clear, and then I'm going to enter the project name. Once I've accepted it, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Return. So you can see that we've now changed the actual name of the project to Webinar Demo, but the project has not been saved yet. The only time it saves the project is when you either run a quick sheet, project quick sheet, or if you tap on Projects at the top left corner. Here you can see that a window will prompt asking you to save, don't save, or cancel. Here I'm just going to say save. And if you have Salesforce connectivity, you can also assign this to the opportunity. All right, so here the project has been created. You can see that it's created a nice thumbnail. I have the name of the actual project below, as well as the date timestamp of when it was created. So to open up the project, all you have to do is tap on the thumbnail, and that will get you back into the project. All right, so let's continue on with the navigation bar. For most of you, if this is your first time joining us and the first time using Kits, what you'll notice is that you'll have the hand gesture ribbon it's open, and that's this hand gesture here that is right of the project name. I'm going to tap on it and leave it open, but what you see here is the hand gesture ribbon that we're going to actually go through, which demos all the different gestures that you'll have to learn to edit your scene. Again, next to that hand gesture icon is the online tutorial button, which you already know what that access is. And then beside that is the project settings button, that nice little cogwheel there. If you tap on it, that gets you into some project settings that you can work with. So here we have the floor grid. And by default, the floor grid size is 30 feet by 30 feet. And you can see that the control switch is by default turned on. We can change that floor grid size to any size you want. All you have to do is tap in the box, change the value to whatever you want to change it to, and then tap on Return to accept that value. So what this does is it'll change the actual floor grid size when we go back into the scene builder. The next set of settings are the layout aids. And if you're familiar with any spec tools, design tools such as 2020 Cap Designer or Project Matrix or any other type of tool like that, you'll be familiar with these aids. But basically what a snap to function does is it allows you to quickly build your projects by allowing an item snap to another item as it comes close to that other item. Okay? And then we have collision prevention. This sounds exactly what it does. It prevents an item colliding into another one or passing through the actual other item. By default, this is turned off, so you're going to have to just get used to how this all works. You're going to fall into your own style of building your layouts. To be honest, I don't use collision prevention as much. I do use Snap 2 from time to time, but I like to actually build without Snap 2 on. I feel that it just gives me a little bit more freedom into when I'm creating these layouts. But again, that's really based on your comfortability with the tool. Okay. The next set of settings are your view settings, and here you can actually display any GSA codes that are associated to the catalogs that you're using. All you have to do is simply tap on the control switch to turn that on. And then we also have the option to hiding the items from the KOE catalog. If you're not familiar with what the KOE catalog is, that is the Kits Office Environment Catalog, which we've created that allows you to humanize your scenes by adding elements such as architectural elements, office equipment, people, plants, and fun little things like that to really create a scene that reflects how the space is going to be used. Okay, all you have to do is simply turn on that control switch to hide those elements. And then lastly, we have the CRM connectivity, and that's connecting the project to the opportunity. So the other thing here that you need to know about the project settings page is basically the About symbol at the bottom. And if we tap on there, most useful information here is basically the version number of the current Kits app that you're running. Kit support may ask you to refer to what version number you're running. Here's where you can get it. This is so they can make sure that you're running with the most current updated build. Okay, so let's go ahead and tap on back to go back to the scene builder. All right. So again, this is the scene builder where we're going to create our layouts. To the right of the screen, we have your camera and view buttons. So you can see here by default, we are currently in a 3D view. And you do have the option of going into a plan view as well as an elevation view. You could also go into the project as a list view, looking at a line item list view of your project. And then you also have the option of locking this invisible kit's camera that's hovering in the kit's universe here. This will allow you to work with your scene without having to move your camera or accidentally moving it. And then we have the camera reset button. If you tap on that, again, all that does is it returns your floor grid to the default camera position. On the left-hand side of the screen, we have your action buttons, and we're going to go through every action button here. We're going to demonstrate what the select button does, the add item, remove, duplicate, group, and ungroup. These are all the buttons that you're going to have to get used to editing your scene. All right. So now that we've actually gone through the actual interface here, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and start to create our project. So the first thing we need to do is tap on the Add Item menu or Add Item button, which leads us into the Add Item menu. And once you open up the Add Item menu, the catalog filter will automatically open the submenu, showing you all the manufacturers that you have currently downloaded to your iPad, as well as any of the planning typicals that you also have. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on Planning Typicals. And here you can see that kits will list all the planning typicals that we have loaded onto that I have loaded onto my iPad. So here we're going to go ahead and tap on Ternary Planning Typicals. And as you can see, when I tap into it, the thumbnails behind it begins to refresh, and that's basically another view that you can get into. But first, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap on View by Product, and you can see again the thumbnail view will refresh. To get into the thumbnail gallery view, all you need to do is tap outside of the submenu, and that allows you to view the project in the thumbnail gallery view. And here you can flick up and down to basically scroll through all the different layouts that you have. So this is a great way to learning items. In this case, we're looking at typicals, but if you're looking in the manufacturer's catalog, it acts the same way. So again, what you can do is you can actually use this as a learning tool, referencing model numbers and descriptions to the actual graphics. Again, in this case, we're looking at typicals, and what we've done is we've created these typicals so you can quickly ideate with your client. Great thing about it is you can actually view it in the thumbnail gallery view as we are here, but if you want to start at the very beginning and you want to go through this and so you can ideate with your client, all you need to do is tap on one of these images, and what it does is it goes into a full screen preview. And in full screen preview, you can see that we have a nice graphic of the actual model. You can see here that we have the typical information at the bottom left corner. That indicates the typical name, as well as any short summary description of the typical. You can see the configured the configured list price of the actual project, as well as the options of tapping on details. If you tap on details, that will prompt the window to open up to show you some details that are associated to this particular typical. All right, tap on the X to close. And we do understand that most of the times a salesperson wants to kind of hide the any kind of pricing information regarding typical sets like this. So we do have the option of going into presentation preview, and all you have to do is tap on the image one more time. And what that does is it allows you to actually view the project in presentation mode, as you can see here. So I can flick left and right, and I can actually go through all the different options with my client so that when we see the project that we want to use, all we have to do is tap on the image one more time. That leads us back into the full screen preview, and then what we need to do is tap on Add to Project to add that typical to our scene. So once you tap on Add to Project, the Add Item submenu will open up in the Scene Builder, and here all you need to do is simply tap on the image in the submenu and then drag it to add it to your scene, just like you do with any of the products. Okay, so that's how you can quickly add a typical to your scene. So here we have a wonderful typical. We can zoom right in, and you can see what we have actually working with is typical. These typicals, even though they come in as a grouped item, are fully editable. Okay, so all you simply have to do is double tap on an item, and you can actually go into the Edit Item menu. Or what you can do is, since it's actually selected already, you can go ahead and tap on Ungroup to allow the typical to ungroup to individual items, as you can see here as I'm tapping each item. All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to quickly remove these chairs by tapping on a chair, highlighting it in blue. The blue box indicates that that is currently an individual item. And so since I'm selected on it, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Remove. And then again, I'm going to select the other chairs, and I'm also going to remove those. So as you can see here, these typicals are fully editable. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to use my product search to find a particular chair. So I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Add Item menu. And then what I'm going to do is tap on Back to get out of the full screen preview. And to clear my, menu here, what I want to do is tap on Reset All, or I can tap on the X found to the right of the catalog, to the filter that is being accessed. But I'm going to go ahead and tap on Reset All. And that brings me right back to the beginning of the Add Item menu. Here we have a search box that you can actually use to find particular items. I'm just going to quickly add in a model number here. And I'm going to tap on Search. And what Kit begins to do is it begins to search my iPad based on all the content that I have available. Now you notice that it couldn't find any item spelled QRB, because what it actually does is this search function is not a Google search. You need to phrase the item or model number or description as it's phrased in the manufacturer's catalog. So the important thing here to understand is that you'll need to understand the nomenclature that's associated to the manufacturer that you're using. So in this case, I need to change this up and tap on Search, and then you can see what it does is it pulls that item as it's found. Okay, so once I have the item, here I can tap on the plus sign to add it to my scene builder, or I can double tap on the image to also add it. Okay, so now again, simply I'm going to place my finger on the seat and I'm going to drag it into the scene. All right, great. So we're nearly there. We have our nice touchdown space that we've created. What we need to do is we also need to create a casual seating area. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to utilize that search feature. I'm going to go back into the Add Item menu. And then I'm going to go ahead and tap Reset All. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for an item. And I'm going to search for a word that's in its description. So here I'm going to tap in Star. I'm going to tap in Search. You can see what it does is Kit begins to search all the content that's on my iPad, which will bring up way too many results. And that's not exactly what I want to find or do. I want to kind of refine this a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly add some filters here. This is where you're going to have to play with how the filters work. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Type. And you can see by default that Kit has items in typical selected. Items are the manufacturer items that are found in the catalogs. Typicals are the pre-configured typicals in the galleries that we've created. So here what I want to do is I want to search for items only, because I only want to look at the manufacturer's catalog. I'm going to go ahead and tap on Items. And again, what it does is it quickly results with searching only items that have the word Star in the description. Again, I want to refine this just a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on Price. And I know that the item is going to range between 6,000 and I'm going to say roughly about 8,000. Once I do that, you can see that what Kit begins to do is it begins to do a little bit more of a granular search, finding the item that I actually want to do. Again, you're going to have to play with how the search filters work based on the manufacturer, because this may not result to a single find just as I did here. But since this is the item I want to include, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double tap on the item, and I'm going to drag it onto my scene. Okay, and as you notice, what I've done is anytime I've added any item, I've added it onto the floor grid, because what you need to understand here is that this invisible Kit's camera that's floating in this Kit's universe is hovering above the actual floor grid, always pointing directly to the center, so that anytime I need to rotate around an item, if it's off of the floor grid, I may not get the best use of that rotation tool. So what you need to do is make sure that all your items are on the actual floor grid. So let's actually look at the hand gestures here and what we'll need to learn. Okay, so I'm just going to actually move this item slightly into the actual floor grid. And what we want to do is we first want to go through the first gesture, which is camera rotate. And simply enough, all you need to do is place 2 fingers off of the actual item. You can see here that my item is in blue because it's selected. So I'm going to place 2 fingers off my screen to rotate that camera. What I'm doing right now is I'm placing my 2 fingers on the left side of the screen, and I'm dragging them to the right side. So you can see what I'm doing is a full rotation. Okay. The next gesture is camera pan. And again, if I place a single finger on the screen off of the item, I can pan that camera up, down, left, and right. Next gesture is camera zoom, and if you all have a smartphone, you guys obviously have iPads, all you need to do is pinch in and out, and that allows you to zoom into the actual product. Right? The next set of gestures are gestures that are going to help you edit the actual item. So in this case, what we need to do is first you need to select an item. Just so you know, if you tap on the screen when an item is selected, what that does is it deselects any selections. So in this case, we want to tap on the item that we want to move, so it gets highlighted in blue. And then we want to place a finger on it, just like in the gesture, and we want to move it around the floor grid. And as you can see, I'm moving the item and not the floor grid because the floor grid is staying put. The next so the next gesture is item move vertical. This is a very important gesture to understand because this will allow you to pick up any item off the actual floor here. And as you all know, that when you're actually building using these items, sometimes they have particular height locations that are already associated to a model. So let's say you're bringing in a hutch that needs to go on top of a credenza. Based on the manufacturer you're using, they'll already have a default work surface height, so that anytime you bring in any kind of hutch, it'll come in appropriately to that height. Now, for any of you that have to build panels, we all know that panels can be built at various heights. That's the reason why when you drag in a panel into the scene, it appears on the actual floor grid floor. So you'll have to learn this gesture in order to pick up the panel to place it in the actual frame. Okay. So for this demo, simply enough, all I'm going to do is create a duplicate. I'm going to go into a plan view, and I'm just going to align my chair in front of the other chair. Then I'm going to actually drag it. I'm going to place it right into the other chair. I'm going to go back into my 3D view. And now I'm going to use the gesture. I'm going to place 3 fingers off the item, and I'm going to drag upwards. And I'm going to allow the snap to find the top of the other chair. But now if I go into an elevation view, you can see that I've lifted up that chair off the actual floor grid floor, and I've placed it now on top of the other chair. Okay, so that's basically a vertical gesture gesture that you'll need to learn to use. All right, let's bring that chair back down, and then I'm just going to set it aside because we're going to use that for this project anyhow. So the next option is item rotate, and this is probably the trickiest gesture that you'll have to learn. The kids can get a little confused with the camera rotate and the item rotate gesture. So what I find is useful for learning the actual gesture is selecting the item, going into your plan view. I'm just going to slightly zoom in, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the camera lock function on the bottom right corner. I'm going to go ahead and tap on that icon to lock my camera. So right now, even in plan view, I can't pan the floor grid left or right, as you can see here, because I'm trying to do it, but that little icon is doing a nice little jig. You can also see that the lock on the camera is now in yellow, indicating that I've locked my camera. So right now, if I actually place my 2 fingers on screen, just like the gesture, and rotate them together, you can see that I'm rotating the actual item. Okay. What I like to do is place 2 fingers on my screen. I rotate my fingers one way as well as turning the iPad the other way. Okay, this just helps me be a little bit more flexible with the actual rotation tool. All right. Once you're done with the camera lock function, you can go ahead and turn that off. And let's go back into the 3D view. So the next gesture is drag select. But before I want to do the drag select or demonstrate it, what I want to do is I'm going to tap on this round chair that we've added, and I'm going to create 2 more of them by tapping on duplicate on the left-hand side, and then just quickly placing them in my scene. I can go to Plan View to validate placement of the chairs. Okay. So once you're satisfied with that, you can go back into 3D view, or you can remain in Plan View, because what we want to do is the next gesture, which is drag select. This is a useful feature to allow you to select multiple items within the marquee box that it creates. So here what we're going to do is we're going to tap on the select button, but this time I'm going to tap and hold it. As you can see, the icon highlights in gray. And then just as in the gesture, I'm going to place my finger at the top of the actual scene builder here, and I'm going to drag it across the items that I want to group together. Once the actual marquee box covers everything, I'm going to let go with my right hand, and I'm going to let go with my left hand, and you can now see that I've selected multiple items. They're all highlighted in the blue boxes, and that allows me to move them as one. Okay, so at this moment what I can do is I can go ahead and tap on Group to group them together. And as you notice that as I tapped on Group, it's now highlighted all the items in red, indicating that these are now grouped items. If I tap on one of the items, that item will turn green, indicating that's the lead item, or that's the item that I'm currently selected on in that grouping. Right? The next gesture is multi-select, and to demonstrate this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one more chair here. So I have 3 chairs. I'm just going to go into Plan View, and I'm going to quickly place them where I want to. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to do a multi-select based on these 3 chairs. So this time I'm going to go ahead and tap on the Add Select button, but I'm going to tap and not hold it. As you can see, it's highlighting in blue, so that any items or any item that I do select now gets added to my current selection. So you can see I'm already selected on one particular chair, but if I tap on those other chairs, they too get added to the selection, so I can now move those as one. I can do anything I want with them, so I can rotate them, and then I can fix them based on the project where I need to place them. Okay, and once that's done, I can go ahead and group those items together, because what I do suggest as a best practice, anytime you're working with any multiple items or any item that belongs in some type of cluster, and you don't want to have to keep selecting the items to move them, do an item select or a multi-select. Choose all the items, and then make sure that you group them together, so that anytime you need to move them, just going to turn off the feature there. Anytime you need to move them, and I'm not selected on them, I'm going to tap on the chair. You can see that I select all 3 chairs because they're added to the group. I can move them as one anytime I select on them. Okay, so we're nearly done. What we've done is we've created that nice little touchdown space, as well as we've created a nice casual seating area that's just behind it. So what I want to do now is I want to begin to add some finishes. So I'm going to go ahead and double tap on one of the chairs, which takes me into the Edit menu. And in this Edit menu, you can see here I have my Option Finish structure that opens up. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the very first one, which opens up the swatch selections that I have at the very bottom. Here you can actually filter by selecting the particular grade. In this case, there's only one standard fabric grade to select from, but I can actually choose through all these different color filters that I find here on the right-hand side. So if I need to add a particular color, let's say the client says, you know what, show me all the gray swatches as well as the blue swatches. All I need to do is tap on those colors, and that will result in changing my swatch selection below, showing all the different colors that are based off of the blue and gray fabrics that I have available to this chair. If you need to remove one of the filters, all you have to do is tap on the filter you want to remove, and that will remove all those colors from the swatches below. All right? So you guys are the designers today. You can go ahead and select whichever fabric you want to use. So I'm going to go ahead and select something here for me to use. I'm going to go ahead and select on this swatch, and I'm going to go ahead and tap on Next at the top right of the Select Finish menu to go to the next option Finish. So here, again, based on whatever item that you're working with, we'll have different options for you to choose from. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to go back into my filters, and I'm going to just pick a color to add to that, and that is the backing of the actual chair. Now I'm going to tap on Next. I'm going to choose a headrest color, and again, I'm going to go into the grays, and I'm going to select one of them here. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Done. As you can see that the next selection has turned into Done, indicating that we've reached the end of our finish structure here. So I'm going to tap on Done. And you notice that what Kits has done here is it's added the swatches to all three chairs, because these three chairs are basically all the same, and they all appear in the list view under one line. Now, just to show you simply how quickly you can change these options, I can double tap on that chair again. This time I can choose whichever fabric I want to, whichever option I want to change. I don't have to go through every single option. Here I want to change the back to a darker value. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to tap on an option to change it. And now I'm going to go ahead and tap on Close. And you can see that it will automatically take whatever I select. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and add some finishes to the nice touchdown area. So I'm going to double tap on one of the items. Here you can see I've double tapped on one of the fabric attackable panels. So I'm going to go ahead and select that panel. And here you can see that I have options to choose from in terms of the different grades that I have available. So if I want to actually view all the grades from grade 1, as well as all the options in, let's say, grade 4, again, Kits will begin to define your swatch selection based on the grade values that you've selected here. If I want to remove any, all I have to do again is tap on the grade that I want to remove, showing me all the grades that are in grade 1. If I need to remove all the grades, again, all I have to do is tap on the grade I want to remove. So now, again, I have all the swatch application or swatch fabrics that are available to me. I can go through the filters, and then I can go ahead and choose one of the items here that I want to work with by tapping on the swatch and then tapping on Done. As you can see, it's now added that swatch. Again, double tapping on that swatch, going to the selection. If I were to tap on Replace All, and then find, again, an item to work with, again, let's go with the blues. If I tap on it, you can see here that I have Replace All selected. When I tap on Done, you can see what Kits does is it automatically applies that finish to any like item that's in my scene. Okay, so that's a quick way of adding that same color to any like item that's that you're currently using in the scene. Here I can go ahead and tap on the trim color. I'm going to go ahead and filter down to all the whites. Let's go ahead and use Stucco Frost, but what I'm going to do is Replace All, select the frost color, tap on Done, and what you can see is Kits has automatically added that finish to any like item, including those pedestals, but what I need to do is also add that to the frame. So I'm going to double tap that on the frame. Again, make sure that I have Replace All. Let's go into my whites and tap on Done, and there you have it. Okay, so I've quickly added those finishes to my frame and all the trim pieces. Let's go ahead and add a color to the work surfaces. And here I'm going to go ahead and select one. That's done there. Let's go next. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a nice orangey color. Tap on Done, and you can see that is now completed. So I'm nearly done. All I need to do is add one more finish to the chairs. So let's go ahead and double tap on one of those round chairs. And let's go select Finish here and tap on Done. So you can see how quickly I was able to add all these items and create this quick scene. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my hand gestures. You don't need to leave that running when you're actually creating your layout. You can simply turn that on and off whenever you need to. But here you can see I have this nice project. So I'm going to quickly go into my plan view, and I'm going to use the floor grid just to help me arrange it in the middle of the floor grid. Okay. So once that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tap on Projects. I'm going to save my project. All right. So again, you can see here that we have the Save Project. There's the actual project name, and then the date timestamp of when that project was created. If I wanted to create a folder, all I need to do is simply tap on the project that I just created. I'm going to tap and hold it. It's going to highlight and zoom, and then I'm just going to drag it on top of another project that I want to create the folder with. Once I let go, that adds both projects to that folder and allows me to change the actual folder name, which I'm just going to say Webinar Demo. Once that's selected, I'm going to go ahead and tap on the keyboard icon at the bottom right corner to close. And you can see that I've now created this folder to help me organize my project. To get out of the folder, all I need to do is tap on the light gray area, and that allows me to exit that folder and go back to the project gallery screen. Again, to get into a folder, all you need to do is tap on that folder. To copy the project, all I need to do is tap and hold the project. Once I let go, it starts to shimmy, and you see a nice blue selection box appear. I can go ahead and tap on the duplicate icon, the copy button there, to create my copy. I know it's a copy because underneath it you can see here that I have the webinar demo that is now a copy. All right. To remove any project, all I need to do again is tap and hold the project, selecting it, and then tapping on the trash can or the delete button to remove that. Okay. This is important to understand because if you delete a project from your iPad and you hit a sync, what that does is it updates your account in the Kits cloud servers, and what that does is it updates your account and creates an image of the current of what the account currently looks like. So again, to understand this, the Kits app in your iPad is like the master controller of your account. So anytime you erase or create a project and hit sync, that updates your cloud account. If you were to delete a project accidentally, but you didn't hit sync now, you can recover it by contacting us, contacting Kit support. They can go on the back end, and what they can do is they can actually add that project that you just deleted back to your mobile account so that when you hit sync, it'll reappear. Okay, so it's important to understand that, again, you can actually recover any project that's been accidentally deleted as long as you haven't synced your iPad after it. Okay. Now, you can see here that my projects are organized by the most recently saved because it's indicated here in the tab. I can actually reorganize it alphanumerically by tapping on the Name tab, which will reorganize my projects alphanumerically. I can search for any project by tapping in the search box. Just know that this isn't a Google search again. What you need to do is make sure that you phrase the search according to what the project is actually called. So here, if I'm looking for my Kits demo collection, I'm going to go ahead and tap on Kits demo and tap on search, and you can see what it's done is it's found that gallery right away for me. All right. Okay. And lastly, what we want to do now is, now that we've created this wonderful project, I'm going to go ahead and open it one more time. And what I want to do is I want to create a wonderful rendering for my client to see. So I'm going to position this typical the best way I can to illustrate the layout that we've created. And then I'm going to try to utilize the iPad frame as best as possible to zoom in. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and tap on HD Render. And you can see here we have 4 rendering options: good, better, best, and line drawing. Whenever you're client-facing and you need to create an HD rendering, we always recommend that you use the first option, good, quality, fast, because that will take you the fastest time to render your project, roughly between 10 to 15 seconds. So let's go ahead and render that. If you have some time and you want to create a better rendering or best quality rendering, you can certainly do so. Either if you're with your client and you're okay with the wait time, or what you can do is you can actually take it back to your office space and office place, and you can actually go ahead and create that best quality rendering. That will usually take roughly about let's say 7 to 15 minutes, depending on the intricacy of the project. Here you can see that our rendering has now completed at best quality, at the first quality, and what it's done is it's added some shade and shadowing and this invisible light source to illuminate our scene. Again, this is still actually a pretty good quality to show your client. So I'm pretty satisfied with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on Export so I can save it to my photo library, just in case I need to refer to this image at a later time, or I can tap on Export and tap on Email to send my client a generic email. That email will be based on the default email that you have for your iPad. So if it's not a professional one, you may want to send it to your professional email first. But there's the actual nice image that we've created, as well as the generic template that it creates. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I also want to send the client, let's say, an item quick sheet. So we're going to get into the quick sheet portion. I'm going to double tap on one of the items here. If I want to create an item quick sheet, all I need to do is tap on quick sheet below, and that will generate a PDF image of that particular item. Here I can go ahead and add some options. I can show the client the model number, options and finishes, product details, pricing if I want to show them pricing. If there's a discount, it will if you've done a configure price and you've gone through that process, it will automatically populate that discount. But in this case, I'm not going to do anything. We're going to cover configure price in the next webinar, so please be sure to join that. And then I can go and add any kind of notes by tapping on that control switch. All you need to do is tap on the empty box below the actual notes menu, and here you can add any note that you wish to. Okay. Once you've selected that, you can see the PDF now will result in all the options that you've selected. There's my note, and you should have your credentials at the bottom left corner of the file, as well as the dealer logo in the middle and the manufacturer of the product that you're looking at. Okay. Again, you can tap on Send, and what that does is it accesses your email, and it creates default or generic email based on the item quick sheet area that you want to send, and that's the PDF attached at the bottom. All right. So if you want to create a project quick sheet, it's a little bit different. What you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and tap on the share icon, and here you're going to tap on Create Quick Sheet. It's going to ask you to save the project, so go ahead and save that. And then you can see the PDF up here on the right-hand side. That's showing me all the items that are in the project, as well as an image of the actual project as it's currently saved. But I do have some options here. I can go into project name. I can change that. We're just going to say it's the KISP office. This actually changes the name of the project quick sheet, not the actual project itself, so don't worry. And then I can go ahead and create or add one of the visuals that I've created for this. Here, since there's only one, I'm going to go ahead and select that one so we can actually show the client the wonderful image that we've created. And then I can go into adding a custom cell line item, let's say like shipping and handling. Okay, and then what I'm doing is I'm tapping on return to accept the actual value. Now I'm going to tap on the 0 below my shipping and handling tag, and I'm going to add the cost of shipping and handling. All right, so you can see here that we've added the shipping and handling. There's the total configured price of this project. Here's the entire PDF of that actual project, but you do have the options of protecting your bid, and that's by giving you the option of being able to see the item details that you want to show your client. So here, if you want to take off discounting, you can certainly do so. You can take off thumbnails. And as I'm doing this, you can see that the PDF is now showing, is now changing, reflecting my options that are selected on the left-hand menu. Option finishes I can actually turn off, and I can just leave this as a nice a list of the actual items, a parts list of the items that are in this typical, indicating the actual model number, description of the item, and the pricing there. If the pricing was changed in any way, the client won't actually see how that was done, which is great, and that's what I want to do to protect my bid. Or what you can do is you can completely take off all your item details. So all I'm sending to the client is this one-sheeter that's basically of the actual image of the project and the total configured list price of that. And if I'm satisfied with this PDF, all I need to do is tap on Send. And again, here's the generic template. There's the PDF that's attached. I can tap in the comments area of the email body to add any comments. All right, so quickly we're going to go into, again, sharing your project. And if you tap on Share Project, this Share Project window will pop up. And this will allow you to share any project or share this particular project to any KITS user. They must have an active license, and you must send it to their email address that's associated to their KITS license. And lastly, if you're working with a design team, what you can do is you can export that awesome AutoCAD DXF and SIF file so that they can actually import into their CAD tool or into any spec tool that they want to use. All you have to do is tap on that. And again, you can send this to any recipient. All you have to do is make sure that you add in their email address. If there's multiple recipients for either the share or the export, all you have to do is add a comma to include any additional emails. Okay, and that's pretty much it. We've now shown you the basics of how to navigate the tool and basically to do a product lookup, add swatches, do a quick little search, render your project, and then also organize your projects. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. If you need to contact us with any kind of issue or any suggestions or comments that you have that you want to make about the webinars that we run, or anything in particular that you'd like to see in KITS, please contact myself or contact KITS support. You can also contact sales to find out additional things that you can actually go through, such as our personal training. And then you can also contact Julia for your suggestions for anything that we have in our social media. So again, I'd like to thank you all for participating. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Pick up your kids, make sure they're okay from school, and make sure they're getting top grades this year. All right? Thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll see you next week.